Top 5 NFL draft observations. And bear with me a little bit while I have to scroll here, guys. But
when you're not ready,
I'm ready.
This is it. No more of this if you're not ready.
I'm ready. Number 5, the Ravens had the best draft. When you go Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum in the first round, and then you get David Ojabo in the second round, a guy who a lot of people thought could be a first rounder, fill every need that you have. You get Charlie Kolar in the fourth round, trading up ahead of the Cowboys, who totally would have taken him. I don't care how much they might like Jake Ferguson. They totally would have taken Charlie Kolar first. And just then you get Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina 11 picks later, and you had 3 deep tight ends now, all that are pretty well thought of. I love what the Ravens did. I love what the Ravens do every year. I'm kind of always amazed that they're always in the NFC Championship game, but they're so smart with their draft and the way they handle things. Plus, you trade Marquise Brown, who ultimately didn't fit what you were doing. Now, do you have a problem at wide receiver? Maybe.
Wait a minute. Did they trade Marquise Brown to Arizona because Arizona knew DeAndre Hopkins was about to be suspended?
Well, we'll talk about the Cardinals here in one tick up, but maybe so. But then you get a first round pick out of them for a guy that you clearly don't really want that much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just give me the Ravens draft every year, and my team will be fine.
You know what? And Newsom's no longer there. Ozzie Newsome, the Hall of Famer, but he set the tone on how to do it, and they followed the script.
Yeah, DaCosta is their GM, and he learned at the feet of Ozzie Newsome and learned very well. Number 4, Kyler Murray runs the Cardinals, because this was a rumor back when the whole I'm deleting my Twitter thing, which
has basically become like it means nothing. So silly, it's like, okay, you want money, okay, we got it.
But one of the seemingly ridiculous sounding rumors at the time was that he said he wanted them to trade for Marquise Brown. Well, they did that, so maybe that wasn't a rumor, and he and Marquise Brown Hollywood are really good friends, and now they've done that with DeAndre Hopkins being suspended for 6 games, and maybe he gets it reduced for performance-enhancing drugs, but Kyler Murray got what he wanted, and I don't know if the Cardinals really got better in this draft. I mean, I like the Trey McBride pick, but to pretend like the guys in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round are going to make them better instantly would be a stretch for me to sit here and tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback, except for in Green Bay, typically gets what they want, right? Yeah. I mean, Aaron Rodgers just watching defensive players go off the board left and right. But, Kyler is their guy. The contract thing's all silly. It's going to be worked out. He's going to get his money. There's no need for all these guys to feel like they have to, temporarily suspend Instagram or whatever they're doing.
Delete their association with
the team. More of that, actually. You're right. But yeah, that's all just kind of silly online games. And, Kyler, he's got a big say, obviously, because otherwise they're not going and trading for Marquise Brown when they did, and not him in particular necessarily.
Yeah, the number 3, the Eagles got better through trades and the draft in a hurry. A.J. Brown, we just talked about in the last segment, that's going to make them better because they didn't have a receiver like him. They had a bunch of smaller guys. Devontae Smith had a great year. Those guys together are a good complement. Hopefully for them, Jalen Reagor can be something more than a kick returner, but we'll see, especially if he's now reduced to kind of a 3rd receiver, 4th receiver role.
That's a first-round pick, too.
Yeah, that's a first-round pick. But to get Jordan Davis as the heir apparent to Fletcher Cox, that's really good. Nebraska center Cam Jurgens, that's a solid pick. He's one of the best players that Nebraska's had in the last decade, probably. And Nakobe Dean at 83 overall could be huge for them.
Yeah, I mean, if he's fully healthy, because that's what the rumor mill was for his fall was just health concerns, but he still went, it's not like he went undrafted or anything. So, yeah, I mean, just name recognition-wise, they had a loaded, star-studded draft, especially when you combine the trade for A.J. Brown in there. So, like I said a few minutes ago, I think the Eagles definitely got better, and they should give the Cowboys a little bit of a run this year.
Yeah, number 2. Number 2, the Jets and Texans both did very, very well, and that's something that we can't say most years because that's why they're in the spots that they are. The Texans, more of their stuff was, to me, early on. Afterwards, of course, is going to be more of a reach, but their first 4 picks to me, Derek Stingley, Kenyon Green, Jalen Petrie, and John Mechie, And look, linebacker Christian Harris from Alabama at 75. That's really, really good. And we'll see what happens, with Dameon Pierce, the running back from Florida. This is kind of a bigger need that they didn't address till later. But I love the first 5 picks. I think the first 4 especially are people who, especially once Mechie is healthy, will contribute immediately. And the Jets trading back into the first round to get Jermaine Johnson and have the kind of draft that they did where you have Jermaine Johnson and Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson before you even get to day 2 really, really, really impressed me.
Yeah, they had good drafts.
And Breece Hall. Yeah. In day 2, yeah.
Breece Hall, another, Big 12 got shut out in the first round, but they had Petrie and Breece Hall right there. I mean, and Breece Hall 1 pick away from being a first-round pick. So, not like it was completely dire. But, yeah, I mean, I really liked what the Jets did. I definitely think that they've actually maybe got a plan now, actually have, real leadership, and it's not as dysfunctional as it has been the last several years. And I trust in Lovey and those guys that they know what they're doing talent evaluation-wise. There's no big expectations right now. They just got to rebuild that thing, and I think rebuilding it with guys from Bama and then guys like Jalen Petrie, it's a good way to go.
I worry about the future in New York of Denzel Mims, but that's been kind of a long-term worry.
And that's on Denzel Mims. Yeah. Ultimately, I mean, he's got to be healthy and he's got to be able to contribute when he is healthy. So, he's been talking big game this offseason that I've seen of, putting in extra work and doing all that. But, you ultimately got to prove it because they put, some pretty good stock into you and not much has come out of it just yet.
And number 1, the Cowboys continue the offseason of meh. I mean, their whole draft is meh. Yeah, maybe it's going to be good. There are things that you like. Jalen Tolbert, I think, is the best pick overall and the best value. I'm not as excited about Jake Ferguson as I would have been about Charlie Kolar, but, I've kind of come around at him a little bit. Damone Clark, you heard Hellman just say he could have been a second-round pick, but this is a team that needs guys now, and they drafted someone with a redshirt year. I think their problem is just not very self-aware. They don't know who they are. And these guys might all be really good players, but do the Cowboys know who they are and that these guys are going to be able to be coached up by the guys they have when, look, in Tyler Smith's case, if you had a problem with penalties in the offensive line and the offensive lineman you draft has a problem with penalties, it's not necessarily about Tyler Smith. Can you help him stop that?
Well, he's either going to end up being really, really a hell of a pick or he's going to be off the team in a couple of 3 years.
Well, that's pretty much everybody's route.
But I mean, for a guy to be picked that high, for the first-round pick, he could be a stud, and I know that's every player. Could be the first guy picked, but they're not in a position to be able to miss right now as they're trying to keep up with everybody else is better than them.
Yeah, I just thought it was an okay draft. I didn't think there was anything that was just blow you away, exciting, or anything that was just dire. Even the Tyler Smith stuff can kind of be explained away. I know Phil Montgomery, who we know, his Tulsa head coach, had a big article on DallasCowboys.com kind of explaining away some of that. So, maybe it's all, wringing of hands for no reason, and he does turn into the next Tyron Smith. But just in general, I didn't walk away feeling like this was some extravagant draft or some great celebration. I thought they just kind of made their picks, and there was others that were a lot more exciting, but we'll see how it shakes out.
Look, if I want to stop doing heroin, I don't go into rehab run by Amy Winehouse, okay? I don't. And I think that's
R.I.P.
No. Yeah. I mean, that's a harsh example, but that's kind of what the Cowboys are with penalties here. It just I have to, step back a little bit, but even still, I wonder if they are completely self-aware of who they are.
I don't know if they are. At some point, they've done pretty well in the draft, and they've done pretty well with their 1-year free agent pickups. All right, thanks to Faith Lynch for being here.